Hello, BookTube.
Hello, BookTube.
I was out walking the dogs, and I came across a homeless person. I have another human in the video screen, so I thought I would do a tag that requires two people. I almost never have another human. Sam doesn't really count. so we're going to do the partner's best friends tag, which is original to WildeReads, which is a BookTube channel that I just learned about the other day. I've only watched a couple of his videos, and I already like him better than I like you.
I was going to say, I'll be playing the part today of the best friend.
Yes, it's a bit of a stretch. But so, question number one. How long have you been together or best friends?
We have an answer to that.
How
Do
long
you know?
has it been?
I know.
The
I know
1890s?
exactly. No, I know exactly.
When? I don't know. I have no idea.
16 years.
16
This
years.
month.
Oh my god.
This month.
OMG. This month?
Yeah.
No kidding.
November, at the end of November.
So, what do I dare to ask you? You would have started at Barnes & Noble?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I was working at Barnes & Noble, and she started there. I was the sexy young thing on the sales floor.
He was the reason I went to work there, because I spotted him.
Oh, for sure. I'll blush. Question number two. Who reads more?
There's no contest.
I read more than anyone. So I read. It's not a fair question. It's not like you're a slacker.
No.
It's just I read more than anyone. It's not fair. I have more time to read. Question number three. Do you ever argue or disagree about books?
Consistently.
Consistently. We do. Yeah.
Steve never likes anything I like.
Yeah.
And
how's my track record with you? Do you often like things I like, or?
Usually, although sometimes we have like a major disagreement. I'm trying to think of.
What about major agreements? Aside from the classics. Can you think of a contemporary book that we both really loved? It's
No.
tough to do when we're not ordinarily we used to have these discussions when we were being paid. And we would just wander around the new release tables instead of, working. It's much easier with those visual prompts.
Well, we both love like English things like P.G. Wodehouse.
Right, but what about non-classics?
Do
you like Alan Hollinghurst?
I haven't read any Alan Hollinghurst.
P.D. James?
I like P.D. James, yeah.
Well, that's close enough. Let's see here. Question number four. Who buys the most books?
That would clearly be me. Yeah. And no contest there.
No control either.
No.
Just no control whatsoever.
No self-control at all.
And I that was true even when I was buying books. I don't buy them anymore. I've credit at the Brattle, and I have 10 books in the mail every day. So I don't. But do you go to bookstores and buy books?
I do.
Right? Oh God. Oh, I know.
I do.
Question number five. Who has the best taste in books?
That is also clear that it's me. Steve reads any piece of junk that comes his way.
I read everything in the world.
I can think of 3 letters.
Oh no! She actually can. They all know those letters.
You guys all know.
There's a certain little lady that I'm in love with. I freely admit it. Only she's not little. She's 60 feet long and phosphorescent and has a bad temper. Well, actually, no, that's not. It's not true. There are probably 500 or 600 people who are new to the channel who aren't going to have any idea what we're talking.
Oh, that's right. Well, we're talking about Meg.
We're talking about Meg. She's a giant prehistoric killer shark. And if you hadn't made her acquaintance yet, you should. She'll eat you up. But I do like good books, too. But she's right. If taste is discrimination, then I lose. Oh, no. What happened?
Oh, no.
The yoga book. Here, hold on. We're having minute technical difficulty. There we go. Okay, question number 6. Do you share your books? I give you books.
You give me books.
I don't lend books. I've mentioned that on this channel before. I don't lend books. It never works out for me. Does it work out for you? Do you ever lend books to people?
Yeah, that they don't come back.
They don't come back.
They don't come
I don't know why anybody ever does it. And yet I have people who get offended. I have people who come over here and say, "Oh, can I borrow this?" And I say, "No, you can't borrow it. You can just have it." And I've had people say, "Why can't I just borrow it?" And when I say to them, "Because you'll never return it," they take offense. When I want to say to them, "Have you ever returned a book you've borrowed from a friend?" No, you never have. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Question number 7. Do you read together or apart?
That's gross.
That's gross. Who reads together?
Gross.
That's disgusting. We read apart. As far apart as possible.
That's right. That's right.
All the young people who are watching are having the same reaction now that all the young people at Barnes & Noble used to have. They're all thinking, "Oh my God, is this going to happen to me?" We always used to make great... that was always very entertaining to watch the young people think, "This is never going to happen to me. I'm going to stay cool."
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Deb and I have some horrible news for you cool young people.
Although, were we cool once? I don't remember being cool.
I don't think it ever happened.
No.
I think we skipped that step.
We might be, right now, we might be the coolest we've ever been in our lives. That's frightening, BookTube.
Oh. Well, they like me for some reason. I know, I consider it just as funny as you do. But when I make one video in a day, they ask for 2. When I make 2, they ask for 3. And I have the feeling you'd do the same for her if she had a video channel. Let's see here. Question number 8. How many books in the average month do you read?
Well...
My number is not believable. I always resist giving it at the end of every month here on BookTube because it's not believable. Even I admit that.
Okay. Well, I've been in a book slump for a while now, but in best of times, I would say like 8 to 10 a month.
And you see, BookTube, you see, Deb, a lot of you have complained for the last 2 years that you love my enthusiasm for books, but that there's a lot of it that doesn't seem particularly human. I don't have reading slumps. I don't need reading motivation. My reading numbers are freakish. For instance, the number for November, I predict, will be in the triple digits. And that's unheard of. No one does that. And I know that. It's freakish. You always complain that you love the book enthusiasm, but there's a gap. Well, Deb is the version of Steve that's just like you. who picks books for mood or motivation, who buys more books than she should, who has a TBR that's constantly growing, that she's constantly meaning to get to, who has reading slumps, etc. You probably have book hangovers, too. The term they have for when you've just read a book that's so good that you...
No, I don't understand that.
Okay, so you just want to get right on to the next one.
Yes,
all right, we have
exactly.
that in common. But it's probably...
Although occasionally I'll hit a book where I want to go back and start it over. Occasionally.
Immediately?
Yeah, immediately.
I love it when that happens. I don't often indulge. Oh, it happened again. Oh, there we go. All right. The yoga book is actually objecting to how long-winded we are. It's mechanically objecting. Let's see here. Question number 9. Are you both competitive in your reading? Oh.
I compete with Steve. He doesn't need to compete with me because he beats me in every category.
Well, you don't compete with me, do you?
I kind of do, yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Well, less so now. I think less so now because I don't see you every day. But when we work together, yeah, I wanted to be you.
I'm not competitive except in a very narrow sense. The other book critics, other professional book critics, people who do nothing else, I know a lot of them, and a lot of times there's an idea of, oh, who's the first one who's going to read the Sparsholt Affair, or who's the first one who's going to read the new Harper Lee. And it's not fair because Sam always wins because he gets it before anybody else because he's a poobah. But he, something like that, where a new book comes down the pike, a new Pynchon or something like that. There's a bit of jockeying. I wouldn't call it actual competitiveness. There's a bit of jockeying to see who's read it first. What's the matter? You want to go somewhere? You can't go anywhere. Let's see here. Question number 10, the last question. Have you read a book on the other's recommendation and not enjoyed it?
Yes. He recommended Hannibal. Was it Hannibal?
You didn't like Hannibal?
I didn't.
Any of it? You didn't like any of it?
Didn't like any of it.
Oh, no. What's the book that you've recommended to me? Do you remember any that you particularly recommended to me?
Have I recommended books to you?
It's a little awkward because I'm tough to recommend books to because I've usually got there first.
I'm sure I've recommended books to you that you wouldn't even go near. That you poo-pooed right from the very beginning as garbage.
I could swear I remember you recommending a nonfiction work to me years ago that I really ended up liking. Somebody's memoir about a health problem. It's slipping my mind at the moment.
It wasn't the one about by Betty McDonald about having TB, was it?
Oh, I think it was. Yeah, I think that was the one. Yes.
That's
it was one. Yes, it was just reprinted, and it was one of hers that I hadn't read. I'd read The Egg and I, but I hadn't read that, and you recommended it, and I loved it.
That was very good. Yeah.
Well, all right, there you go, book 2.
What was the title of it?
Something like The World is Wonderful, or something like that. She's checking her phone.
I'm gonna find out because booktubers need to know about this.
Yeah, that's true. You all love it. You'll all love Betty McDonald. Whether you start with The Egg and I, which is the book that was her most popular thing. But she wrote, I think, 3 books. And you're right. They were just given a very nice reprint. I don't know if I showed them on this channel.
And she also wrote the Mrs. Pigglewiggle kids books.
Yes, she did the children's Mrs. Pigglewiggle books. Now that I am remembering that, I think I did talk about that on this channel a year ago when the reprints came out.
It was called...
She's checking her phone. We both remember when that was silly. When if someone said, check your phone, you'd have gone to a mechanical thing hanging on the kitchen wall. And you said, all right, why am I checking it? It hasn't moved in 10 years.
I think it was called The Plague and I.
Yes, that's right, The Plague and I. And do I have that up? Who did the reprint? Does it say?
I don't know.
Well, whoever it was, I can leave a link down below because I think I wrote about it. But yeah, The Plague and I was delightful. And that's it. That is the best friends partners tag. How do you like that? I did a tag with another human being. Now, all that's left is for all the rest of you to get on Deb's case about joining us on social media. On BookTube, on Twitter. You have a Twitter? Yes? That you never use.
I do have a Twitter that I never use.
And she never uses it. And the reason that she doesn't use it isn't because she wouldn't like it. It's because she doesn't do anything that she didn't do in 1890. So if she didn't do it in 1890, she doesn't want to do it now. She's right at the moment wearing a whalebone corset. All she needs to do is she's on Facebook. So what you need to do is go onto Facebook and hound her onto Twitter.
No, I go onto Twitter. I see your tweets, and I don't do much on Twitter.
But you gotta go on.
I don't understand Twitter.
It's easy to understand. You look at the first 3 words of someone's tweet, and then do the most aggressive hot take you could possibly think of, and then tweet that, and that's it. You're done. So if somebody says had a rough day at work, if that's their tweet, then you read had a rough, and in the comments you tweet out you're a racist, and hit send, and you're done. That's Twitter. It's so much fun. I told Sam the other day, months ago, I told him, the thing I love most about Twitter is that you can start an argument on literally any subject with literally anyone at any time of the day or night. And you should have seen, he shrank like a cat in the rain. He shrank at the very idea of doing that, while at the same time acknowledging that, of course, that would be its main draw for me. But anyway, we're going to go eat.
Bye.
But I'll see you all soon. Thank you, BookTube.